Hello and welcome to yet another video this week in the Yo-Yo Dietist Fat Loss Secrets group. I'm excited to be live on the right day this time. So guys, if you're new here, I'm Alessia. I'm a certified nutrition coach, certified fitness trainer, personal trainer, life coach, wellness coach, online coach, and I'm the owner of Body by Less and founder of the Lean Method, which is a fat loss program that will help you lose fat for the last time. If you're interested, get in touch. Welcome to the Yo-Yo Dietist Fat Loss Secrets group. I'm excited to be going live today to talk about a topic that I think so many women struggle with, and the more I see clients, the more I coach, the more I realize that this is just always going to be an issue. And it's just we've been conditioned to believe that the only measure of our progress when it comes to fat loss and our health and fitness goals is that number on the scale. And so this week I wanted to hop on to today's live stream and talk to you about 10 ways that you can actually measure your progress and signs that you're making progress that you might not be recognizing and that perhaps have nothing to do with the scale and that number. So before I get into the 10 signs of progress, I'm gonna actually talk to you a little bit about why I believe that you are obsessed with the number on the scale and you only see that number as the only measure of progress. The reason is because you have been conditioned your whole life to diet, all right? To go on one diet to another, hop onto the next diet train or fad. And usually those fads, the only measure of you succeeding on those fads and diets is the number on the scale going down. So I would want you to drop me in the comments if you're watching live. So say hello if you're watching live or if you're watching the replay. So let me know in the comments below. So if you are a chronic dieter or you have struggled with fat loss your entire life, you've always done some sort of fad, and you are obsessed with the scale, it's time to break up with the scale. But hear me out. I'm actually going to explain to you why there's nothing bad inherently with the scale. So many women fear the scale. I also went through this where I would attach my worth as a person to that number on the scale. And all my hard work I would generally sabotage all my hard work if I wouldn't see any progress. And that needs to stop, all right? And I know that you're doing it too. And if you are, let me know in the comments below. I would love to know if this is something that you struggle with, because it's something that I speak to women over and over, clients, potential clients, friends, and everybody, literally everyone struggles with this. So the scale is not the only measure of progress. I'm not knocking the scale, because the scale has its place, okay? Of course, if you are looking to lose a massive amount of weight, if you are really overweight, then the scale matters. Of course, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it doesn't matter, because that would be me lying or me kind of appealing to your feelings. No, I don't do that. As a coach, I'm always going to give it to you straight, but it's not the only measure of your progress. And you have to understand why first. And the reason is scale weight does not equal fat loss. And this is something that a lot of women struggle to understand, because when we talk about weight loss, most people only think of the scale. But then when we talk about fat loss, most people kind of look at both of them as the same thing, but they're not the same thing, okay? You can very easily lose 10 pounds in a week if you stop eating carbs. Yeah, 10 pounds, literally. Try it if you want. You can make an experiment. So if you drop carbs or if you go super low calorie, you will drop weight. No matter what, it will happen. Your scale number will go down. And this is why fad diets work. initially, because they give you that boost. You're like, oh my God, yeah, they're working. It's working, but then it's unsustainable. You quit, the weight comes back, and you're back at square one. So you will lose 10 pounds, but it will mostly be water weight, okay? So that does not mean fat loss. And so that is why fat loss and weight loss are two different things. And you have to understand that when you think of your goals and you say you want to lose weight and you want to look good naked and you want to be toned and get curves and all that good stuff and, you know, have fit into your clothes, that's not necessarily just weight loss. It might be partially, but it's not the majority of your results. It's fat loss, okay? Fat loss is what we're looking at, okay? So the scale only measures your weight. And what is your weight comprised of? It's comprised of water weight, okay? We hold on to water in our bodies. It's comprised of blood, lymph. These are all tissues in your body. It's comprised of your organs. It's comprised of the food that you ate. It's comprised of waste if you don't poop, okay? So all of those things make up your weight. And fat is also part of that equation, but so is everything else. So when you hop on the scale, you think that that number is purely fat, but it's not. It's all of those things. So if yesterday you ate more carbohydrates, hold on to water. You're gonna weigh more on the next day on the scale. It's not fat, okay? Fat loss happens linearly, okay? But weight loss is constantly up and down because the scale fluctuates. That's why it's not a reliable source of progress. So today I'm going to share with you 10 other more vital, more helpful ways to see progress, to measure progress that does not involve the scale. Now, some of these perhaps might be new to you. Some of these might not be new to you. Some of these might feel a little bit like useless because you're so fixated on that number. And I want you to stick to the end because I'm going to share with you a trick and a strategy that I teach my clients in the lean method to change their mindset about the scale. Okay, so stick with me till the end of the video and I'm going to share with you that with you at the end. Now, please bear with me, guys. My mind is not really like working so well today because I'm actually not feeling that great. I've got a little bit of a sore throat and I'm hoping that I don't come down with a cold. But if I mumble or eat my words, please forgive me. So, okay, let's dive right in. How to monitor progress in 10 different ways that don't involve the scale. Okay, step number one, or progress number one, is you've been on a fat loss diet, you've been on a calorie deficit for a significant amount of time, and you've been able to maintain a new low weight. So let's say you started your fat loss phase at 80 kilos, okay? You started off at 80 kilos and now you've dieted down and you've lost 5 kilos. So you are now at 75. So you lost 5 kilos. And let's say it's been a couple of weeks that you haven't lost any weight or any additional weight for a few weeks. Maybe you've sort of plateaued, right? Which is so common. It's common with dieting. You're going to plateau. You're going to see the weight kind of slow down as you get closer to your goal weight. And you maintain 75 for several weeks. That is a win, okay? That is a huge win. Why? Because you've been able to maintain a new low weight for a significant amount of time. Most people, they find it easy to lose weight, but super difficult to maintain weight. And so when you have been able to maintain a new weight for a certain amount of time, that is a win, okay? That is a win. So I have a client who's been working with me for several months. Actually, it's been almost 2 years now. How time flies. But she's been able to maintain steadily quite well. And that is a huge win, all right? Because she hasn't rebounded. She hasn't gone back to her old ways. She hasn't gone back and gained that weight back. So in my opinion, in my view as a coach, that is a huge win. Number 2 is you're losing inches at the same weight. So maybe you've plateaued at 75. I'm just giving you random numbers here. So you've plateaued at 75, but you're losing inches. Your clothes fit better. That is when you're losing fat. And that is an amazing, amazing way to track your progress that isn't scale weight. So you might weigh the same and you might be thinking, oh, I'm not making any progress, but your clothes are fitting better, you're losing inches, you're measuring with a tape measure and you're dropping inches, even though the scale stays the same, all right? So that is also progress because you're losing fat, which is what we want. Number 3 is you're getting stronger in the gym or your workouts. So your workouts are improving, you're improving with your workouts weekly, you're lifting more weights, you're doing more sets, you're doing more reps, you are doing more volume or more intensity without getting as tired as you did in the beginning. That is progress, so much progress. Most people completely ignore this, okay? But it's such huge progress. And why, again, are we only focusing on a number versus how we're performing, versus how our body is actually performing in real time, in real life, versus a number? Where is the logic? Make it make sense. So getting stronger in the gym is by far my favorite because that means you're getting stronger, you're building muscle, your metabolism is working well, your body is functioning well. All right, so that is a huge win in my eyes. Number 4, and I've already kind of touched on this, is your clothes are fitting and are fitting, or they're looser, or they're just, less tight. That means you're losing fat. Again, we do not want to focus on just scale weight because scale weight is not only fat. Fat loss is what we want. So always look at how the clothes are fitting and your measurements, okay? Next, number 5 is pictures or subtle changes in the mirror. So pictures are one of my favorite ways to track progress. And the thing is, maybe you're just starting out on your health and fitness journey and you're kind of like uncomfortable taking before pictures. And I totally get that. If you're really overweight or you're just not happy in your body, like it's really nerve-wracking to take a picture of your body, especially with minimal clothing. But trust me, you would have wished that you had when you start your journey, because you're, again, only focusing on scale weight is going to drive you insane. It's going to drive you nuts, and it's going to make you think you're not making any progress, where in reality, your photos are going to show so much progress, especially if you take them monthly. So in the beginning, you're going to see massive changes, and then it'll start to taper. And then you might start seeing less and less because you're getting closer to your goal. So you're losing a lot less or slower rate of fat loss. But in the beginning, you want that motivation. You want to be able to see those changes. And then when you've reached your goal, imagine to be able to go back and look at your journey. I have a client who's lost 49 kilos, guys. 49 kilos in 9 months. And when we look back, he looks at his before pictures and he's like, Alessia, I don't know who that person is. Like, I don't ever want to be that person ever again. And that is such a big mindset shift. So taking photos is so crucial. So taking frontal, side, and back in the same lighting and making sure that you take them in the same place, same lighting, and same clothing as well, so that you can constantly see the changes happening. I prefer to wear less clothing. You don't have to be naked, but you do have to wear less clothing, because if you wear too many clothes, dark clothes, you're not going to be able to see anything. So I would suggest to go with like a sports bra or your bra and some shorts, something that will help to see the progress. So super duper important, taking progress throughout your journey. Now, Number six is consistency with nutrition. So this is something that, again, most people don't realize or don't see it as a win, but in my opinion, it's a huge win. So a lot of women only focus on the outcome when it comes to fat loss. They only focus on that loss, okay? They want to lose, which is totally understandable. It's a goal that you have and you want to lose fat and you want to get to your goal. However, what is more sustainable and is more long-term is focusing on the behavior changes that are necessary to get you there. So this is actually called goal setting, looking at goals from an outcome-based goal and process-based goal. So outcome-based goals are literally just like weight loss or 5 kilo weight loss, or I want to get stronger, I want to do 5 or 10 push-ups, right? It's focused on the outcome. Process-based goals is focused on the actions that you need to take to get there. Now you might think, oh, well, if I just focus on, eating more protein or waking up early every day to prepare my breakfast for the day or going to bed earlier so I can, sleep 8 hours, you're like, well, you don't see that turning into the outcome, but that's how you get there. It's the daily small behavior changes that you're doing every single day, 1% better, that at the end of the year, you've lost the weight that you wanted. So nutrition and consistency. So if you've started being more consistent and you've been tracking your nutrition and you've noticed that in your MyFitnessPal, you have tracked for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks consistently, that's a huge win. That's massive. That is so much better than just the number on the scale, okay? So think of it this way. You've been consistent with your nutrition. You've been consistent with the actions that are needed to lose the weight. It doesn't matter if on the scale it says that you haven't dropped any weight. What matters is that you're doing what you need to do. You're taking action. So if you are familiar with learning a new skill, maybe you want to learn how to speak Spanish. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and know how to speak Spanish fluently. You're going to have to practice. You're going to have to get those reps in. You're going to have to keep practicing daily so that in 6 months to 1 year, you'll be able to fly to Spain and speak Spanish. But that doesn't happen from one day to another because it requires those daily action steps, that consistency. So if you've been consistent with your workouts, which brings me to number 7, consistency with your workouts as well, or your nutrition, or your daily habits, that is a massive, massive win. So that is progress that you're not recognizing. So start recognizing your consistency because it's so key. All right, moving on to number 8 is daily activity gets easier. So again, something that we totally take for granted, that is where we actually feel good, where we're actually breathing better, we're walking up the stairs and we don't huff and puff like we used to. We're able to carry bags of groceries up to our apartment or our homes without needing to go back and grab the other bags because we can carry all of them without getting tired. We can play with our kids longer because we're not going to stop and take a break because we are out of breath. So that is a huge, again, progress monitor that you're ignoring. Because why are you ignoring it? Again, you're focusing on just scale weight, and that is completely arbitrary, where consistency with workouts, consistency with your nutrition, activity, daily activity getting easier. Maybe you've even taken up a new sport. Maybe you've started walking more. Maybe you've started, I don't know, having sexual relations with your husband more because you feel more confident. That is a win, all right? That means that you are now progressing. You're becoming better, 1% better every single day. So daily activity getting easier is a huge factor of progress. Number 9 is more energy than you had before. So let's say you were always tired prior to starting your fat loss journey, and now you're not as tired. Now you stay you can manage to not take a nap in the middle of the day. That's a huge win because you have more energy. All right, so maybe on the weekends you want to wake up early because you have more energy to go and work out. That's a huge win. Overall, more energy is huge. And again, it's a progress that you're not recognizing and that you need to start recognizing today. All right, finally, number 10, progress that you're not recognizing. And I'm going to finish with more confidence and control over your life. Guys, health and fitness is so much more than fat loss, okay? Yes, I'm a fat loss coach. Yes, I talk about fat loss, but there is so much more benefit to eating well, feeding your body good food, working out, moving your body, getting enough sleep, focusing on your goals. There's so much more to health and fitness than just that fucking number on the scale. Can we just talk about that? Can we just talk about that? Can we talk about the fact that it is a mindset thing? It is a mental thing. Let me give you a little bit of a personal story, okay? I don't share this a lot anymore, but if you go back on my Instagram page, you'll see quite a lot of me talking about my depression or my struggle with depression in the past. I've struggled with depression for years. I've struggled with anxiety. I have ADHD, which has only been recently discovered, which makes so much sense of why I do things the way I do and the way I am. So I've had a lot of really low moments in my life, and especially when I was a vegan, and especially when I was struggling with my IBS, and that was, a good 7-8 years ago. I was really depressed. I was in a bad place mentally, physically, emotionally. Everything was just falling apart all around me. I felt like nothing I was doing was working. I tried everything and it just felt like I was spinning my wheels. I felt like I wanted to give up. And you know what saved me? Strength training. Strength training saved me. Strength training was my therapy, and it still is today. Strength training changed my life. I didn't get into strength training because I wanted to lose weight. I got into strength training because I just wanted to feel strong, because I felt weak. I felt weak mentally. I felt weak emotionally. I felt weak physically. And so when I started strength training, I started because I wanted to feel strong. And the benefits that came along with that, the lifestyle changes, I became a new person. And in all honesty, that's what needs to happen, okay? You need to realize that if you want a different body and if you want to feel different, you're gonna have to do things differently. You can't continue making the same excuses. You can't continue making the same decisions that you're making on the daily. You can't, because that's the definition of insanity, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over and expecting different results. That's not going to work. So health and fitness really helped me in so many ways, and I had to get honest with myself. I had to call myself out on all the bullshit, nutritionally, physically, strength training, all of it, mindset. I did a lot of mindset work. I did a lot of soul searching. So it goes way beyond that. It goes way beyond fat loss, okay? The confidence that I gained as a woman, but as a person, as a coach, in so many ways, it changed my life. And I'm not the same person anymore. And I wouldn't want it any other way. And so you need to make this work for you. And so one of the ways that you can realize that you're making progress is that you're a different person. So if you wake up every day and you start to be like, wow, like I never used to be this person who trains at 6 a.m. or goes for a walk instead of watching Netflix, or choosing to eat protein rather than digging into a bag of chips. Like when you start to see yourself kind of like from the outside, right? Like instead of, it's kind of like an out of body experience where you look at yourself from the outside and you're like, oh wow, like I've come a long way. Like, who is this person, you know? And so today, when I do things out of character, my friends around me or my parents and my family, they're like, wait a minute, like, what are you doing? This is not like typical of Alessia to eat this way or to behave this way. So we know that instantly something feels off, right? And so when I don't want to train, it's either because I'm sick or I'm really exhausted, or it's because I'm feeling low. And when I feel low, that's when I need to train. When I'm sick or when I'm exhausted, I need a rest. And that's important. I'm not saying you should never rest. But remember to learn to rest when you're tired, not to quit, okay? So more confidence, more control over your daily habits, more control over your daily schedule, routines, etc. is such a huge measure of progress. So I'll do a quick recap. Number one, maintaining a new low weight is a sign of progress. Losing inches at the same time as at the same weight, getting stronger in the gym. Your clothes are fitting better and looser. You're losing fat and inches. Subtle changes in the mirror, meaning pictures, mirror, you're looking different, you're looking and feeling better. More consistency with your nutrition and your habits, so you're sticking to your routine, you're falling off the wagon less and less. More consistency with workouts, so instead of skipping your workouts, you go and train regardless of how you feel. Instead, you go because it's discipline. More, your daily activity getting easier and more energy than before, and finally more confidence and control over your routine. Now, remember at the beginning of the video, I told you that I was going to share with you a way that I teach my clients to break free from this scale obsession and viewing the scale as the enemy, okay? How do I teach my clients to stop viewing the scale, stop being fearful of the scale, stop being scared of the scale? How? By weighing themselves every day. I know, you're probably like, what? I thought we weren't supposed to weigh ourselves. Let me tell you why you should weigh yourself every day and not just once a week or once every couple of days or once a month or something. So when you weigh yourself, remember at the beginning we talked about how your weight is always fluctuating. So if you weigh yourself today, Monday, and the scale says you weigh 75 kilos, and then you weigh yourself again on, I don't know, Wednesday of 2 weeks from now, and the scale reads 72, you're like, yes, I lost weight. And then you don't weigh yourself again for like another week, and then you go on the scale and it reads 70, 76. You think, oh, freaking hell, what happened? How did I go from 75 to 72 and then 76? So the answer is your weight fluctuates. So if you're taking data randomly throughout the month, you could be smack in the middle of your cycle. You could literally gain 3 kilos of water weight just by being on your period. You could also have not taken a poo, or perhaps you have gone for a really, really long walk the night before and your body's holding onto water. Or same thing, you've trained really hard, you've lifted really heavy in the gym, your body is holding onto water because muscle, when it's inflamed, which when you train, that's what happens, it holds onto water. So again, you're gonna weigh more. Maybe you've had more carbs the night before, you're gonna weigh more. So if you are weighing yourself randomly on random days, on like random times of the month, it's not enough data to collect what is known as a trend. So how I teach my clients to do this is that they either weigh themselves every 3 days or every day. So every 3 days is for those clients who don't really like hopping onto the scale very often, but we still have enough data to see the trend. So how do we calculate the trend? Trend is simply measuring the same date from 1 month to another month, same date. So Monday, what are we? November 1st to Monday of December 1st, whatever day it is. I don't have a calendar, but you get the point, right? 1st of November, 1st of December, and so forth. That is how you measure the trend. If you track your weight in a weight app, or such as MyFitnessPal or Fitbit, you can also see the scale. They usually have like a scale or a graph, sorry, of the scale, and it can track that for you. So the clients who work with me, that is part of the program that they can do in the app Body by Less. But that's basically how you stop fearing the scale. You weigh yourself every day, you just use that data, and then you look at the average of the trend. So you calculate the average by the time. So if you've done weekly, you add up the whole of the 7 days and then you divide it by 7, then that gives you your weekly average. So that is how you do it. You do not compare one day to a random other day, because it's not enough data. It's just gonna confuse you. It's making you upset. It is not correct data collection. So you have to understand how the scale works. Once you see that the scale is just an inanimate object that tells you just a small fraction of your progress, you'll realize that you shouldn't pay attention to it completely, that it is part of a huge picture. It's part of a puzzle of different pieces. All right. So then things just become easier. So if there's no point in fearing it, okay? It's like if you want to learn how to swim, you won't be able to learn how to swim if you're scared of the water. How do you beat that? You have to face it. You have to face the water. So it's the same thing with the scale. You have to face the scale. You have to look at it and see it for what it is. Just one measure of progress, not the only measure of progress. So guys, I hope this has helped you. If it has, please let me know in the comments. And as usual, I really, really appreciate that you take the time to sit and watch these videos. I really appreciate that you feel that any of the value that I share is helpful for you. So if you have any friends, any family members that you believe might want this information, bring them in, let them join the group, share this with them, share the link, invite them over, and let's all help each other get better with this whole fat loss thing, right? Let's all realize that there's so many ways that we can track progress, and there is not just one way. So thank you, Sheila. It's been amazing to be part of your walk. And if you have any questions about this, please drop me a comment, drop me a DM. I love hearing from you. And if you're interested in the Lean Method coaching program and you do want to finally lose fat forever, for the last time, get in touch with me. I am onboarding new clients for November, and I believe that now is probably one of the best times to actually start your health and fitness journey. Because remember, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year are just 3 days out of the next 2 months. Not 2 months, 3 days. That means you have so much time to get a head start on everybody who starts on January. So if you're interested, send me a DM or drop me a comment below and I'll reach out to you. All right, guys, I hope this has helped you. Again, I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments how you found this video, if you found it helpful. Invite your friends, invite your family, invite anybody you believe this will help. And as usual, thank you again. And I will see you guys next Monday for another live. All right, chat soon. Bye.